So hello and welcome to Vetsdiary friends. As we all know that recently UPSC declared Indian Forest Service results in which 148 candidates were selected, and this year many of them were veterinarians, and today we have one among us. So I would like to welcome Dr.Omkar, who has received All India rank 30 this year in Indian Forest Service examinations 2025. So I welcome you, Dr. Sir, to my channel.
Thank you, Dr. Prashansa.
And Dr. Sir, I would initially like you to please give a brief introduction about yourself.
Hello everyone, my name is Dr. Omkar Sunil Phadtare and I am from Satara district of Maharashtra. I have completed my graduation from Nagpur Veterinary College, Nagpur, that is in Maharashtra only. Since then I have been preparing for civil services examination and also for forest services. And recently, as Dr. Prashansa mentioned, I have secured All India rank 30 in the recent examination.
Okay, so I would again like to congratulate you, Dr. Sir, on this great achievement.
Thank you
because
so much.
It requires a lot of perseverance and hard work to reach this stage, and especially rank 30. So how are you feeling, Dr.
Sir? Mainly the current emotion is of relief. I am relieved to have something because I have been preparing for more than 5.5 years. So it was an emotionally tiring journey, and I'm very much satisfied with what I have received at this end.
The next I would like to ask Dr. that why did you choose UPSC after veterinary, as veterinary is itself a professional degree and a coveted position. So why UPSC?
See, public service was always on my mind, even during my graduation days. So I was active in many student council activities. And once I remember in fourth year or final year, our clinical medicine professor, Dr. Panchbhai, told me that, see, you can become a good teacher. So I was inclined towards academics. I wanted to do PhD and all that. See, he said that for PhD it will take 5 years. After that, we don't know how much vacancies will come, where it will come. So you have no idea. It is very uncertain process. He said that you have potential. Use those 5 years for preparing for civil services, and you would land in a very different area. So that triggered me. It was actually a trigger point. So actually, I began preparing civil services after my internship got over. We were the COVID batch. After the COVID ended, I actually began preparation, and that was my main motivation, I would say.
Okay, so I think your teacher was very right. In 5 years you would have done PhD, and today you landed in Indian Forest Service. So that's really an achievement, Dr.
From that, I would like to say that I was also lucky, because see, everyone takes efforts, everyone puts all those hard hours, but we also need luck on our side. So I think I'm quite fortunate to have landed in the forest services.
Definitely, Dr. Hard work and luck, I think both are the factors for this examination, and especially after this year's prelims, I think luck will be a much important factor from now on. I would like to tell my viewers that Dr. Saab received the second highest marks in interview in 2025. So I would like you, Dr. Saab, to please tell a brief amount of scores that you received so that our viewers get a general idea about it.
So this year I received 230 marks out of 300. I am second topper. 240 is the highest marks that is received by AR 9 in the same examination. So talking about interview, I would say that I received 230 marks because I think it was my day. Everything went in my favor, and that is why I received that number of marks. Because it was my third UPSC interview. I have already applied for civil services interview twice. During that, in 2023, I received 184. In 2025 itself, I received 180. So my marks have been good, but not exceptionally high. So in this interview, the Honorable Chairperson Sanjay Verma sir was the chairperson, and he was very much interested in my qualification and our veterinary and wildlife background. So all of that plus my DAF, it went into my favors, and he was visibly impressed. So that is why I think I received these marks.
Okay. So we'll discuss about the interview stage in further later parts, Dr. Initially, I would like you to tell the viewers that how many attempts you made in this examination and what have you learned successfully from those attempts.
This current selection of 2025 was my fifth attempt in civil services, and fourth attempt in forest service, in which I got rank. So I have been appearing for civil service since 2021, right after my graduation. So in consecutive, for the first, in the initial two attempts in 21 and 22, I could not clear the prelim stage. I missed the first attempt by 6 marks, and after that by 1 mark only. And in third attempt, I could clear the prelims cutoff. And after that, I appeared for mains as well as interview. But unfortunately, I could not find my name in the list in CSE 2023 exam, and I missed the final rank by 15 marks. And after that, there was another downward slope in my journey. I again failed to clear prelims of 24. But after that, I spent a complete year in preparing for prelims and mains very comprehensively, due to which I think in 2025 I could clear forest cutoff as well.
Okay. So I think the setback, and it is very tough, I think, when we once reach till interview stage and then the prelims is not clear, we tend to generally question ourselves that what is wrong, but that time you used judiciously in preparing mains well, because mains is the thing which help us gives rank yes, in the list. So okay, Dr. Sahab, so now we will start one by one all the 3 steps which we generally encounter in UPSC journey. So initially I would like to ask you that what was your strategy for prelims and what sources did you use for it?
Fine. See, mainly in the 5 attempts that I have appeared for, I have failed to clear prelims thrice. So I think I have spent a lot of time thinking on what I should do right to clear prelims. And the main thing that I have found is the most important thing for prelims is PYQs. They set your path regarding how to study. And apart from PYQs, you need static, a very, very good command over static. And third thing is a very calm and composed mind in those 2 hours. I think these 3 things are the most important tools that you possess for really clearing prelims. And apart from that, sources, I have nothing special. Did not follow anything special. All the basic sources like Lakshmikant for polity, Spectrum for modern history. Then for geography, I used NCERT extensively, and apart from that, many YouTube resources for geography. Science and tech was done mainly from the current affairs, current affairs and PYQs, nothing static for science and environment. Because I believe that in recent years, environment has not focused only on the static parts. There are no more questions like ecotone and national parks. We have the UPSC is traveling much beyond the normal boundaries. So, and for art and culture, I refer to Nitin Sangwan sir's notes, not Nitin Singhania, but Nitin Sangwan. Nitin Sangwan is a very, I would say, underrated person as far as art and culture is concerned. His notes are very, very comprehensive, and I use that for art and culture.
Yeah. That's it. Okay, so Dr. the 3 things which you initially said, I think that those are the most important things for prelims. That PYQs, those are just the Bible, because if someone does PYQs, then I don't think that they can clear prelims. Absolutely. And then the static portion. Right. We have to focus more on static. And then the third thing that you said, when we are on the day of the examination, then we need a very calm mind. Because if we lose a temper, then this will become difficult for us. So, Dr. CSAT is one thing that is getting tougher day by day. And especially if we talk about art student or students like us who have biology background, so we find it a little tougher than the students which have maths background. So, how did you handle CSAT and how much time you dedicate to CSAT preparation?
See, I think I believe that I am a credible person to talk on CSAT because I have never failed CSAT, and apart from that, I have never scored exceptionally well also. So my scores have always been thrice I have been between 66 and 70 in 3 CSATs. Okay. Last year I crossed 100 marks. But often I have been around 70 marks. So I think I know what to do well for CSAT, because as you rightly mentioned, we have a little tough time dealing with mathematical questions. See, CSAT is divided in 3 portions. I divide CSAT in 3 parts. First is the comprehension part, passages. Second is pure mathematical, arithmetics. That is the second part. And third is reasoning. So these are three divisions of CSAT according to me. If you focus on any two, you can clear CSAT. I believe this. Any two. 2025 CSAT honorably has been an exception. So nothing has worked here. It is luck. If you clear 2025 CSAT, then you were a lucky person because you had a calm mind and many factors went in your favor. But I am talking about a neutral CSAT that has been which we have been seeing since many years. So for that, I used to focus mainly on reading comprehension and logical reasoning questions. Only these questions, and my main target was to go beyond 45 questions, beyond 44 questions. If I attempt more than 44 questions, most probably I will score above 70 marks because my accuracy is very good. I don't understand. Recently, I have been seeing that many people have been attempting questions about 60, even in this year's CSAT. I don't understand how they go beyond 60, but their accuracy is very low. So see, in CSAT, you have to be accurate. You do not need to have a lot of attempts. The approach has to be completely different from GS. You have to go through all the 80 questions very, very judiciously. You cannot miss any simple question. So that is why strategy plays a very, very important role. This year, if we speak about this year's CSAT, see, reading comprehension was very difficult. That is why we see that CSAT scores are abysmally low because RC was very difficult. And those people who had good maths, they are comfortably clearing CSAT. This was not the case in 2023. Maths was very difficult and reading comprehension was good. And that is why I could clear 2023 CSAT easily. So this time UPSC has said that you need to be well versed in everything related to CSAT, everything. You need not be an expert in probability or in all that, but you need to have a good command over at least LCM, HCF, speed, work. These problems you need to be at least comfortable in solving that. If you are not, then God be with you. So I think you have to be well versed in CSAT very well. Do not run behind. If I have to advise anything related to CSAT, do not run behind any coachings or any lectures for CSAT. They are, I would say, mostly useless. Only thing that you should focus on for CSAT are PYQs. Only thing that you need is PYQs. Just use Google Lens, capture that question, ask Google Lens. Google Lens will provide YouTube video. It will provide its own, Gemini will provide its own solution. So you will have a ready-made solution for that question at your disposal. You need not to go watch any lectures, any YouTube videos for that. Just trust PYQs and be confident in those 2 hours. That's it.
Dr. I said that I think that you said the very right thing, that we need not to even solve the CSAT questions of the coaching institutes, various coaching institutes, because what they make and what UPSC makes is at very different levels. And if one does PYQ very nicely, very judiciously, then they will be able to clear CSAT, except this year's 2026, because it is true that we need to be good on all aspects, but then also there is aptitude which children have, such as ours aptitude is good in reading comprehension. Right. So we tend to do more questions of that, and if it comes very difficult, then I think it is unfair with us, but still we cannot do anything with UPSC. So as you said, that we need to focus more on maths and reasoning portions, so that in any case we are able to clear this and not fail by just marginal marks.
Yeah.
Okay, so in prelims, Doctor, as we know, in prelims has now becoming more and more, although it is a static, but more and more factual it is becoming. And this year's paper, it was completely random, and current affairs was asked in very large proportions. So what would be your advice to children or aspirants who are attempting 2027 or 28? How should they go for prelims?
See, many things have changed after these prelims, because recently what I am observing in the UPSC circle, that the outlook towards UPSC has changed after these prelims, because we must understand what UPSC is aiming for. If you see the progression of prelims since 21-22, you would see that prelims is getting very, very dynamic each and every. 2023 paper was the most difficult one until then, and after that 24 paper came totally from static sources. That is why cutoff went high. 25 was challenging but very doable. But 26 paper, 2026 has confused everyone regarding how to approach prelims. If we, I would suggest that if I am supposed to talk only about veterinarians, I think we are in a very good position because we have a very good fallback option. So we must not be afraid to choose civil services because what I am saying currently. Sorry, doctor, I am digressing from your question, but I think I need to address this because what I am saying is people are very much afraid of choosing UPSC as career now because it is becoming very, very luck-based exam. It is very random. There is no specific path that we can follow and clear prelims. That is why I want to say to all the veterinarians that our fallback option is very good. We do not have stress of being unemployed. That is the case with many other unfortunate streams. So that is why we must have courage to appear for civil services if you want to. And regarding how to approach, see, if during 1 year, if the paper comes very random, this does not mean that the process is totally random. There are people, I have many friends, despite the difficulty of question, who are scoring 90 in every prelims, who are scoring above 90 in every prelims. I am not one of them, but I know people who are clearing every prelims in all the 6 attempts. So what they are doing is they have very, very good command over study, very good command. If you are missing any question from parliament or president, you are doing something very wrong. There must not be any chance that you miss the question of polity or geography. Economy can get tougher, but geography and polity are completely in your hand. So that is one thing. And apart from that, what I have observed is very deep, minute analysis of PYQs. So if I'm supposed to discuss any question, see, I'll tell you, this might sound stupid, but see, 2026 prelims was totally obscure. So we have to apply many random tricks. What my one friend told me, there was a question regarding the raga, right? We had to identify which Hindustani music rag is similar to that Carnatic music rag. So at that time, what my friends applied, many of my friends have applied that trick. I skipped the question. I did not even read the options because I do not know anything about that rag. So rag Bilawal, that was the question. I skipped the question totally. What my friends did was, they read the question, saw the options. Option number 4 was the longest one. They picked odd man out. They marked it. See, you need confidence. You need high confidence to apply this. Many of the freshers would not think like this way. I am also a veteran in this process, but even I did not think this way. That is why my scores are quite low in this prelims. But many of my friends who are scoring above 90, they told me that you need to apply everything. When you see that paper is totally out of syllabus, you need to apply everything that you can think of. Show the courage there. And by God's grace, you might clear it.
I think very rightly said, Doctor. In paper like this, knowledge, I don't think it would suffice. We need to apply some tricks, logics, and elimination. Though that is eliminated again by UPSC.
Yeah. But elimination has played a great role in this prelims.
But yes,
tricks,
yes,
logic has played very great role.
Logic and tricks. And yes, the question you were talking about, we have read those tricks, and I think that in that pressure, it is, if people are able to apply that thing, that the longest one is the answer, then they have really practiced well the tricks. Yes. Because then only they are able to think. Otherwise, though, the first instance is that okay, this is something very different and we don't know this.
Right.
Okay, so
that is why I said we must have a very calm mind and confidence. See, overconfidence is useful in some instances, but you must not be at all underconfident.
Yeah.
Self-doubt is the most harmful thing that you have in those 2 hours. That is why be confident. If you believe, hit it. It might get right.
Definitely. Anyways, it will not clear if we attempt less. So we should attempt at least an approximate number of questions. So summarizing prelims, Doctor, what would you like to say in few lines, that what should be the most important things we must focus for prelims?
PYQs, static. That's it.
Yeah.
Don't run behind current.
Don't run behind current, and learning few logic elimination tricks. Yes. And in CSAT again PYQs, and having command over all the 3 portions, and especially in reasoning and comprehension, if we are from this background. Okay.
See, if I were to talk more about CSAT, sorry Prashant, I would like to add something.
Definitely, Doctor.
I have derived if anyone wants to contact me personally, I can get them very well. We can have a separate session on CSAT. Because I think I can say that I can tell you how to clear CSAT. because our backgrounds are similar. Even I did not have maths in standard 12. Even I was decent in maths. So that is why I believe that it is a very achievable thing. It is not something like I am from ICSE background, nothing like that. I have studied in uh, state states state schools, so state syllabus from Maharashtra. So nothing ordinary, no extraordinary English, no extraordinary maths ability. But still, I have cleared CSAT every time. So I think we can talk more about CSAT if anybody wishes to.
Definitely, Dr. Sahab. So, Dr. Sahab, now going to the mains stage, which is the actual stage for getting the name in the list. So, what was your way of preparing mains? And especially, I would like you to discuss upon note making, because many of the aspirants are confused about note making, and as we know today, we have a problem of too much information and we don't know how to consolidate it. So,
Right.
how did you did it?
So we'll divide mains in two parts: optional and GS. Okay. Uh, First of all, if I have to tell about myself, I have appeared for two mains of civil services. I have cleared both of them. I have appeared for one forest mains. Cleared it. So I have cleared every mains that I have written of UPSC. Not by a huge margin, because I was not able to be in the final list, but I have cleared with decent margin. Uh, Regarding mains and note making. See, note making is the most important thing that you need to do for mains, but it has to be very intelligent and comprehensive. We might be a little apprehensive about making notes for optional. I can understand that. For optional, I know many selected candidates who do not have notes on every subject, but still their graduation was very decent. They were very studious students, unlike me, during their graduation years, and that is why they could score really well in optional. So in optional, we need to have notes, not on every topic, but on main topics. We'll discuss it later regarding optional. But for GS subjects, we need to have notes. How to make notes on for GS? I think first of all, it is a very well-known thing that notes should be on all these syllabus topics. But I think the most important thing is, before, you must have something at your disposal while entering the exam hall. Before entering the exam hall, in those 2-3 hours before the night before the exam, you need to have something at your disposal. So short notes play a very important role, because at that time you are able to revise well, and only then you can reproduce. So what your notes must have? First, I have to tell about myself. That
Huh.
only then the information will become credible, right? So in
Definitely.
2023 mains, when I paid for the mains for the first time, I had only 81 marks. It was very low score, even though the GS1 scores were butchered in that mains. From 81, my score has increased to 106 in 2025 mains. 106 is a decent score in GS1. Above 110 is exceptional score. So what I did was, see, GS1 is a very static subject if if you are excluding society section. Apart from that, everything is static. So if you study well for prelims, GS1 is mostly sorted, mostly. Study PYQs, analyze how PYQs are asked, how the patterns have changed, and then you are good to go with GS1. You do not need, I personally do not have any history notes for GS1. I followed the ready-made only spectrum for even for mains. For world history, there are Shreyant Kumar sir notes. You must know him. 2018 Air 1, Air 4, Shreyant Kumar. For world history, I followed that. Post-independence was mostly done through newspaper and PYQs. Post-independence was done through PYQs. And geography, if your prelims geography is good, you are good to go with for mains. Provided you do answer writing of PYQs judiciously, then you are good to go with geography as well. But the tricky part is of society. See, society, what I believe that I scored 81 very less marks in first mains because my society was very weak. I did not understand how to approach society questions, because you may have society notes based on syllabus, but you will not be able to answer. You will not be able to write an answer using those notes in the example. Why? Because society questions are very dynamic. That is why we must refer to PYQs always. You won't see any question directly based on regionalism. Those days are gone. Directly based on globalization. No, the questions have changed. That is why you need to be intelligent while applying those notes in your answers. So what I did was, I have a friend who has sociology optional. In this means, I asked him to provide me all the keywords of sociology. What your society answer must look like a society answer for a person who is examining that. See, for mains, we must understand that one person is not examining all your answers. There is a history professor who is checking your history answers, geography person for geography, society person for society. So each question of that subject is examined by an expert. So for him, you must appear like a sociological student while you are writing the society answer. So if your answer wants to look like a society answer, that answer must have the keywords of society. Like for example, if I'm about to talk about some question related on caste, I still remember I had kept in mind that if let any question may come regarding caste, I'll write there upward social mobility, because that is one factor of caste. Because see, general person won't be able to write this. It happens only if you know something from society background. So that is why use those keywords related to any subject. Use keywords from that subject, and then you will be able to do justice with those specific questions. Because I think society is the most tricky thing in GS1. If you are about to move ahead and talk about GS2, I don't think I'm a very credible person to talk about GS2, because my GS2 scores have decreased this year and they are exceptionally low. When I was expecting a good score in GS2, because I had put a lot of inputs in GS2, but still I could not do very well. Because see, GS2, if you have seen 2025's PYQs, you'll know that GS2 paper was very difficult, very difficult. Anybody saying anything else is lying to you. 2025 paper was very difficult. So for such papers, what you need to do, that what I did wrong, what I think is, I focused on demand too much, and then I missed the core demand of GS2. See, GS2 answers look like GS2 answers if you put in those political keywords, judgments, articles. Your answer needs to have that. I would just focus on addressing the demand, that I missed to address these other things. I missed to add the value. That is what we call value addition. That was missing in GS2 answers. You must not focus on IR and all that, because see, IR questions were very difficult. Every year they will be difficult. I remember a question which was asking about digital relations with Africa. Nobody knows digital relations with Africa. So you must not waste your time there. Nobody's notes has that. So these are obscure questions. But only polity comes for more than 100 marks. You must have very good command over judgments, articles, recent cases, Supreme Court judgments. So this is how your GS2 scores can increase, which I'm going, if I'm allowed to appear again in GS2, I would focus on that.
And what did you did for social justice and governance?
PYQs.
Okay.
Only I had my notes for GS2 are very for social justice and governance in GS2 are maybe 3 or 4 pages only. For SHGs, I have examples of SHGs, keywords related to SHGs. Similarly, for women-related issues, for vulnerable sections, there is a pattern to answer those questions. If you see, for governance, there is a structure how to answer governance. There are some issues, mainly for e-governance, how to answer. You will find it in any if you follow any reputed coaching materials for that. For example, Vision is doing that. Prahar Only IS is doing that. They have that. Pick those value-added points, add them in your notes, mold your notes in your answer. And because social justice and governance, they are very general questions. You can answer them even without any study. But to add the value, to have that specificity, you need to have that keywords and if any diagrams possible. Many coaching materials have them. Refer to toppers copies. Toppers copies are very important resources for mains, toppers answer copies. Refer to them, how they are addressing those.
Okay, so did you join any coaching institute per se, or any mains specific course for the preparation?
Yes, for mains, see, I haven't done any coaching, any formal coaching for UPSC anywhere. I have joined a few test series. For this mains, I had joined Vajram test series.
Okay.
It was very good. I think Vajram Vision Forum, the 3 reputed test series are equally good. You can pick any of them.
So as we know that answer writing is very important. First we'll discuss about it. So how many answers did you write? And how much time did you dedicate before prelims and in between the time of prelims and mains to do answer writing? And what do you think that what is the weight of answer writing in mains preparation?
Answer writing is the most important thing. that you need to do for maths. Having said that, I would also like to say that we cannot write answers until we cover some basics about GS. Uh, Speaking about myself, I have been doing answer writing since day one because I believed I started studying in 2021, and at that time there was uh, the market was saying that you need to do answer writing from day one of your preparation. My answers were very stupid, uh, lacked any content, but still I was doing it because market was saying so. And since then I have been doing answer writing. I think in 2022, after I failed at 20 my second prelims, I joined a year-long test series at IS Baba. I would like to refrain from talking about sit quality, but it helped me have a decent schedule for 5 to 6 months. Every Sunday I used to write paper, even though I did not have complete notes, but I used to sit for those 3 hours. I used to think and I used to write. That helped me to develop a thinking process for answer writing, and I think that is the most important thing. See, what mains checks do. I have been scoring better than many of my peers consistently in mains. Many of my friends who have appeared for interview have failed in next prelims, next mains. So what I've observed is mains demands very analytical thinking, very analytical thinking, and you must be able to connect multiple points simultaneously. Your answer needs to have a multidimensional approach because questions are designed that way. If you do that, if you connect multiple things together, if you are able to analyze the question and the inherent demand, I think you would do well. And this comes from newspapers and PYQ analysis. That is why newspapers, I think we have not spoken at all about newspapers. Newspapers play a very distinct role in your preparation. Uh, if anybody is saying anything else, they are lying to you. Newspaper are the must be the your primary source of information. Apart, I'm not talking anything about magazines, but from newspapers, what you learn is you learn to analyze. You need to interconnect the subjects. How geography affects history, how geography affects international affairs, how economy is affected by geopolitical situations. These things you won't read in book. You can understand this only through newspapers, only through daily reading. Only then you can be able to analyze how international relations change, how society changes. Only through daily reading of newspaper you can understand that, and this in turn helps you in giving a very meaningful answer in an interview.
Yes, Doctor. And as we saw this year in prelims examination also, many English was comparatively tough, and the people who have good reading skills, those were at advantage in this prelims also.
Okay.
And ethics questions were asked. So mains preparation is important now for prelims also.
Right.
And as you rightly said about newspapers, Doctor, and as we were talking in GS1 about society, and now society questions have become very current based.
Right.
So what was your base, as you said that you asked some society keywords from your one of your friends, what was your base material for society?
I have referred to multiple coaching notes. I used Vision, Vajiram, and also Forum. I just glanced through that. I did not make any of my notes. And what I observed was all of them were very bulky. And three, see, my main the main criteria that I use to pick up any notes is, am I able to write an answer through these notes? Write a PYQ through these notes. I was not able to. Because as I mentioned earlier also, globalization is not directly asked. Regionalism is not directly asked. So that is why you need to mold those notes. And those questions, if you can talk about some, there was some question on nationalism and civil servants in this society. So this is not clearly mentioned in any. If you are given that question separately, you would not be able to identify which subject is this question from. GS1,
Yeah.
GS2, GS4. It was such question.
Yes, Doctor, I remembered it.
Right.
Yeah.
So when you know in that example that you are writing a GS1 society answer, at that time you can generally, a generic person can write an answer on that. But at that time your notes won't help you.
Yeah.
My base material was many things, but still I would say that if you want to keep anything as your base material, use PYQs and syllabus. See PYQs, how are they being asked? Put it on ChatGPT or Gemini, whatever you feel comfortable. Make notes from them. Do not refer to any basic coaching materials because they are very bulky. You cannot use them for means. You can use them to get to understand what globalization is, how it has changed, but you won't be able to answer. So that is why use PYQs and AI.
Yes, Doctor, you very rightly said. I remembered while writing that question, I was thinking whether I am writing GS4 or I am writing GS1. And in GS2, it was like whether I am doing GS2 or I am doing GS3. Means the questions are very interlinked. It is that
Right.
we cannot do now paper-wise approach also. The questions are from GS1, 2, 3, 4, all are interlinked, and we have to follow that approach only. Doctor, one more point I would like to add. As you mentioned about AI, and now we said that many toppers in their discussion, as you also said, that are using AI in their preparation. So, how could one use AI in a better way to ace in UPSC mains? Kindly throw some light on it.
See, AI is the best tool to have for mains preparation. Uh, but what we need to understand is what prompt we should give to ChatGPT for that matter regarding how to answer. I would say that just pick up any PYQ, paste it in the chat box, and ask ChatGPT to give a very comprehensive answer in 250 words for UPSC exam. Let it take your data, let it know that you are a UPSC aspirant, let it take everything. But see, you need to put it, you need to tell it that you need an answer for UPSC exam in 250 words only. Tell it to add some quotes, to add figures if possible, to add data, and ask it to remember it for forever. After that, you need to do this only once. After that, it will give you a very also ask it to give answer in point-wise format, intro, body, conclusion format. Add some keywords in conclusion. It will do everything for you. Just tell it what to do. You have to do it only once, and after that, you ask him to remember it. So after that, whenever you put any question, it will give you the answer in that format only. And for, I'll tell you, for GS2 and GS4 questions, AI is the most important thing that you can have, because if you talk about GS4, we haven't discussed ethics at all. If you see, ethics answers cannot be written through your notes. It is a fact. If you see the quotes that were asked this year, random quotes, one's brain cannot function in the exam hall regarding how to interpret these quotes. Use AI when you are studying. Pick up that question, paste it in AI, and ask it to answer in that format. So just you can use AI in this way. Do not use AI to randomly ask information. Give a detailed prompt regarding how you want it. If you want to prepare notes through AI, I've done that also. Ask it, how do you want your notes to be? What does your notes need to have? Like, again, data, examples, some famous personalities, quotes. Ask it to provide that. It will provide that. So use AI very intelligently.
Okay, that means we have to write everything which we expect to write in a GS
Yes.
answer question. We have to ask it everything. That is very important, Doctor, you mentioned, because many of us don't know that how to give a right prompt, and getting it from you, it will be very beneficial. Okay, so now we'll move towards GS3. We know it is the most bulky and most less marks giving paper, and it has 5 components to it. So how did you manage it? What was your strategy?
Yes. Again, I would tell my scores first, and only then you would judge me whether I am speaking anything correct or not. First time my JS scores were 84, and in second means they are 87. Average to below average scores, above anything above 90 is exceptional in GS3. But I would still say that 87 is a very good score in this mains. So let me tell you what I did in GS3. See, GS3 is a completely factual paper. So for that, every subject is, apart from disaster management or here and there internal security, the paper is mostly factual. If you talk about 4 economic questions that come, they are random questions. You may or may not be able to answer those. That is why you score less, because not because GS3 is marked poor. We score less in GS3 because it is a very detailed question paper. Many questions are asked in too much depth, which we are not aware about, and that is why we fail to score. Having said that, if you talk about GS3, there is no base static source for GS3. I believe this. There is syllabus. We have notes on GS3, but again, we may or may not be able to reproduce those notes in the answers because the questions are very specific. That is why, again, PYQ are your most important source in GS3 as well. Use the PYQ. Understand how the questions are changing every year. If some year some static question on agriculture is asked, another year random questions on agriculture may be asked. Science and tech is completely current based, right? Disaster management and internal security are more or less static. But even in recent times, we are seeing that even internal security questions are current based. For that, you need to have some material, and you might find it online anywhere. Apart from this, the mains magazines, mains 365 that Vision provides, or you may refer to any other coaching institute as well. But the main specific magazines play a very important role because they cover mainly many current affairs things that have been happening in those 3 months after prelims. So that is covered in mains magazines, and it also gives you many value-added material to add to your data. Again, for GS3, I would like to add one more thing: newspapers. What I missed in my first mains was reading newspapers after prelims. I thought that now I need to focus only on the static material, and current can be done through magazines. But no, please read newspapers. It won't take much time, 30 to 40 minutes, because you need to focus only on the analytical section of the newspaper, explained, and the editorials. Only this much. It won't take much time. Make notes out of it. If you find any good article, for example, related to water pollution, urban waste management, if you find any good article related to that, please make notes out of it in those 3 months. You will be doing it anyway throughout the year, but in those 3 months it becomes very important, because in many years, in last many years, we have seen that UPSC is asking directly questions on articles from the Hindu, from the Indian Express. So be aware that this, if any particular article is related to any syllabus subject, if of any syllabus point, then make notes out of it. Pick up some data. Pick up the solutions, innovative solutions. It would fetch you many more marks.
Okay, so how many pager notes did you, Doctor, have for GS3? Because it is so bulky, so for revision at last minute.
I think 15 to 20 pages only.
Those are very good. How were you able to make such short and crisp notes?
Because I did not add any theory part in it. In my notes, I had for disaster management and internal security, I had for example, Samadhan strategy, for disaster management, data of earthquakes, cyclones. I had all that. For disaster management, I remember I have only 2 pages of notes. Only data, only validation. Nothing apart from that. I know how volcano occurs. So in my notes, there is no diagram of volcano. It is in my mind because for prelims, we have already done that. So those diagrams, I know cyclone diagram. So it won't be in my notes of disaster management because I have already covered it in geography. So this is internal. For science and tech, economy, for economy, yes, through current magazines, I had collected all the data related everything to GDP, unemployment, and everything related to that. I had collected the data because value addition. See, the questions are analytical. You have studied well, you know the answer, but you fetch marks through value addition. So that is why in my 15 to 20 pages, there was only value addition, only data, only examples. Agriculture, only examples, graphs, only that, nothing beyond that. For Chandrayaan question, only diagram of Chandrayaan, components of Chandrayaan, that's it. Because it was in current, it came in 2023 means, that was only in only data, nothing beyond that, nothing, no definitions, nothing.
Yes, Doctor, I think you are absolutely right about it, because we cannot study more than 15 to 20 pages also between those, those mains time when GS1, GS2 and GS3 we have to regularly write. Okay, so now we will talk about GS4. So what was your base material for it, and how did you manage case studies, and regarding the examples and value additions, from where did you source them? From newspapers or from any coaching material?
For GS4, talking about my scores again, in my first mains I scored 113 million, and in this year I've scored 170 or 60. So this year's scoring was very difficult. Many of my friends' scores have dropped in GS4 this year. Anything beyond 120 this year and even after this, I believe, is a decent score. Is an exceptional score. Anything beyond 120 is a very good score. So my score is 116, 17, and I would tell you what I did for GS4. See, again, make notes only of those things that you can reproduce in your paper. We tend to make notes of everything from the syllabus. For example, there is determinants of ethics. This is the topic. You will write everything. What is teleology, deontology, what Kant says, what Jeremy and Bentham says. But how will you use it in those answers? You have it on your notes. You know ABC model of attitude, affection, behavior, cognition. But the important thing is, how would you use it? Only make notes of those things that you can be able to. that you will be able to use it, and that is where PYQs come. My base material was lexicon, but I think it is an ancient source now. Lexicon does not help anymore, so please don't go for lexicon. Join ethics course, because ethics is a very random thing. It is not as easy as it used to be 5 to 6 years ago. So if you are able to, please join an ethics course. You will get a very good idea regarding how to deal with ethics. What I did, for examples, newspapers and toppers copies, and please have good friends who can provide you good examples, because it is, if you are studying alone, it might be very difficult for you to collect examples, but your friends who are reading other sources as well, they might collect examples. We had a group on WhatsApp, and if anybody used to read anything, they used to just type it in that group, and in that way we collected many examples, many case studies, lot of data. Have sincere aspirants around you. It would help you to collect examples in a better way. Regarding GS4, I would like to also add one more thing. See, I changed my strategy for GS4 this year. Most of the people go prefer writing case studies first. I think it is a very bad way to start GS4. Why? Because in GS4, in case studies answers, you won't be able to innovate anything, and it would consume almost 2 hours. You will be left with only 1 hour or 65-70 minutes for 13 questions. It is very less time. See, what I have seen, even you may refer to toppers coffees to verify what I am saying is, if anybody has scored exceptionally well in GS4, that person's theory has to be exceptionally good. Only then that person can score exceptionally well, because theory gives you marks. Case studies are just, each and every one of us are writing more or same case studies. There is nothing very extraordinary to add in case studies. There are 3 approaches, two extremes, one middle path. You'll choose the middle path. You'll explain why middle path. You'll write some quotes, some data. That might fetch you some other, some extra marks. But more or less, case studies are similar. Even who is scoring 100, one scoring 130. Case studies do not make much difference. But theory makes a lot of difference, because you are not giving equal justice to theory. And for theory, you need to have a very good command over static ethics, good command over collection of examples, quotes, diagrams. Use toppers copies to collect all of this. And first, that is why I say, first write theory part and then go for ethics. If you even then go for case studies. At that time, if at last, see, if you divide the time of 3 hours, each case study must take 15 minutes. Yes, 15, 6 and 90. 90 minutes for case studies, 90 minutes for theory part, right? But we do not complete case studies in 1.5 hours. Nobody does. You go beyond 90 minutes. And if you write that first, you are compromising your theory. That is why go with theory first. Try to complete your theory in 90-95 minutes, and then go with case study. Even if you compromise your last case study, it won't matter. It won't matter a lot. Even if you write the main points of that case study, you might get you might get marks. So that is why finishing the case study in 10 minutes is quite easy than finishing theory questions in 2 minutes. So please keep this in mind, and I would like to suggest that go with theory first.
Okay. So time management is also, Doctor, an issue which many aspirants face in mains examination, because 20 questions in 3 hours is a difficult task to do, and that too when you have regular examinations. So how did you manage your time well, so that you completed the entire paper and none of the questions were left?
I have written 3 mains of UPSC, and in all the 3 mains, I was able to complete every paper that I have written. Not even a single question was left. But this does not mean that all the 20 questions that I have wrote were of good quality. I have written very bad answers. In first prelims, I have written 3 answers in last 10 minutes. So I used to complete paper just for the sake of completing it. So this does not, it is not very good way to do, to write mains. Regarding time management, see, I have seen many people, and I know a friend who is IS this year. She told me one thing, that there is a metric through which you can judge your answers. So, if your first and 20th answer looks the same, you are very good with mains. If any of those 20 answers, if you are compromising on handwriting, on the length of answer, any of that, then your time management is an issue. Your first and 20th answer must look similar. So this is what she told me. And how to achieve this? You must finish, at any cost, you must finish 10 marker at 7 minutes. You must finish 15 markers at 11 minutes. This is a must. Even if you don't know, if you know, even if you want to write something, no, you have to finish it in 11 minutes. Only then all of your 20 questions would have some decent quality. So keep this in mind. There was a mental trick. I had to turn page every 3 minutes. So I had made it an habit. No matter what happens, I have to turn a page at 3 minutes. So constantly my eyes were on the clock that is ahead of me on the bench. So I'm looking at the clock, I'm writing, continuously looking. There is a calculation, it must go in your mind. Within first 10 minutes, your two answers must be, within 15 minutes, your first two answers must be completed. So this is way, and you have to do this in not before prelims, not before mains. You must do it before prelims. Please write some 3 hour papers before prelims. And at that time only, you will be able to judge yourself very well.
I think, Dr. Saab, this will be the most important advice of today's mains, that the first answer and the last answer should look similar, because the tendency is that the last answer's writing is it is completely different from what we have written in the first answer. Due to the stress and time crunch, it generally happens. Okay, so now we have done with GS 1, 2, 3, 4, and now we have two things left, that is essay and optional. So what was your essay score and what was your essay strategy? So please enlighten us.
In first mains, I scored 125 in essay, and in second mains, in 2025 mains, I scored 115. I believe both of these scores are above average scores. 125 was quite a good score in 2023, and even this year 115 is a good score. So essay strategy is, see, we have a very different attitude towards essay. Earlier, we used to think that if you study about GS, if you study GS, we can write essay answers. This was possible until 2016-17, even 18. But after that, essays have changed. I would advise everyone to watch Harshita Goyal ma'am's videos on YouTube regarding essay. They are very enlightening. You would gain a completely new perspective regarding how to approach essays. I did the same thing in both. Harshita Goyal is 2024 topic. In 2023 also, I and my friend were discussing how to write good essay, because pastel approach does not work anymore. If you write pastel, you'll get only 70 marks out of 250. Nothing more than that. Pastel approach is outdated approach. So that is why your essay, how your essay can look like an essay, if only if you give their arguments. Theory makes essay good. Not essay must not look like a collection of examples. Because pastel approach, what we do in pastel approach, we just political, administrative, scientific, technical, whatever. So we just collect examples and we pour it in our papers. We focus on connecting words like moreover, meanwhile, however, certainly. These words do not fetch marks. This is a very, very mechanical approach. Essays fetch good marks only if there is coherence in your essay. Coherence comes from very good brainstorming. Now, how to do brainstorming? So you get 5 minutes. Do not take more than 5 minutes to pick a topic. You have 4 topics. You have to pick one. Spend good 5 minutes in that. Because choice of the topic is the most important factor that will decide your marks. Do not go for a topic that you find is completely different. Do not go for that. Do not fall in that trap. I'll write something unique. I'll pick a unique topic and I'll get good marks. It might backfire. It is high risk, high reward strategy. Go for something that you are comfortable with. Go for something that from which topic you have understood every word of that topic. If you understood every nook and corner of that topic, only then you will be able to write good 10 pages of essay. First thing is picking a good topic. Second thing is doing brainstorming. Do not skip brainstorming at any cost. Do not compromise on brainstorming. Brainstorming cannot be done within 10-15 minutes. You need at least 20 minutes for brainstorming, good 20 minutes. So please spend that time. And what to do in that brainstorming? Do not do it in your mind only. Use the pen and paper. See, what I used to do in brainstorming. Do not think in sequence, like how should be the intro be. Do not go there. First focus on topic, what the topic is saying. For example, let me take some topic because it would...
okay, I think... Acha, you have chosen topic. Okay.
It has no... It is a very difficult topic. It came in 2025 minutes. I read it, it was the first topic. I read it, I skipped it because I understand nothing. But still, now, a few days ago only, I brainstormed it with one of my friends. So that is why it is fresh in mind. So truth has no color. You have chosen this topic. You need to understand truth. What is truth? What is color? And why truth has no color? What does it mean? So this is how your brain taught me. What is truth? So truth are facts, objectivity, reality, scientific experiments. All of this overall gives truth. And also truth is metaphysical, what I believe. Something can be true to me, something can be true to you. But this is an extreme statement. It says that truth has no color. So what does color mean? Color means different opinions, uh,
Diversity.
multiple diversity.
Hmm.
It says that truth has nothing of that. Truth is universal. So this is an extreme statement. So it becomes difficult to defend an extreme statement. So you need to analyze these things on this point. Truth, what is truth? Truth is different for an individual, for a society, for a nation. Truth is different. For humanity, truth can be something else. Here you can add truth through gender perspectives. What is truth for man? What is truth for woman? So just analyze this, connect it with no color. Why color? What does you can add colors? White truth. What is black truth? Gray truth. What is this? So this can be colors. It says that either things are in black or white. There is no gray in truth. So why not that? What does mean? What does it mean? See, you have to analyze this. What, why, how, and write your essay through points in this manner. If you want to add examples, use pestle approach. Use pestle approach only to add examples. Truth for political. What is political truth? What is societalist truth? What is truth in international relations? Right? So you can add examples through this historical truth. You would use pestle to add examples, but use only argument thing, thesis, antithesis, synthesis. Use all of this to design your essay. Only then there will be coherence, and only then you will get good marks.
Yes, Doctor, via an example, you explained it in a very nice way. And the truth which is truth for us today, it would have not been the truth 100 years earlier or few years earlier. Right. So, yes, the thing that you are mentioning is that the essay needs to be multidimensional, and we need to think in varied perspectives. And while you were telling also, I felt so nice that okay, this can also be thought, this can also be thought. So I think although the UPSC journey, in some points it is tiring, but some points it is also very entertaining, interesting, enlightening, and I can see the smile on your face, which is continuously present because you are telling your experiences. And at some time we have enjoyed it. We have enjoyed when we did good, when we write good essays, when we write good answers. So that is the thing which comes when we are a true aspirant.
So regarding the smile, I would like to say that you must know that meme. हंसदे and the chair and the मतलब ये नहीं. So there are a lot of tears are heading behind this smile. Yeah. I spent many nights crying alone because but still this was my choice. Choosing UPSC, it was my choice. Nobody asked me to do UPSC. It was completely my parents supported all of my decision, and I have enjoyed even all the failures. Now some sort of success. I have enjoyed everything. So I believe I own everything, every bit of it. So no complaints in that. I met a professor who was an examiner at UPSC, who is an examiner. For obvious reasons, I would not to disclose who he was, but he gave me very different insights regarding mains, and I think it has helped me in a good way regarding how to approach mains. See, the most important thing for mains is the demand of question, and I overdid it in GS2. That is why I missed the core demand of GS2. Demand of the question is the most important thing through which you can get marks. The market says that you won't score above 6 marks in 10 marker. No, it is a total lie. You will score 9 marks if you write a good answer, and you can score 0 if you write a very rubbish answer. So this is the fact. Again, another thing which I said earlier also, there is an expert who is checking your specific answer. For GS3, there are 12 examiners going through one copy because there are 6 subjects. 10 marker questions are checked by different examiner. 15 markers are checked by different examiner. This is what that person told me. So not one person. If we have something of the perception like your first answer must be good. That is why his opinion of yours will become good, and he'll feel that this is a good candidate. Nothing like that. If your paper goes to a geography examiner first, he will read your geography answer first rather than looking what you have done in history and society. He'll look only in the geography answers. So keep it in mind that your every answer needs to have good quality. Not your first questions do not decide your perception. Your last question does not decide anything. All the 20 questions decided together. So this is one thing. Please focus on the demand. Please do not miss the demand. That is why we have low scores in GS3, because we forget to address the demand. What is asked in the question? There is nothing. There is no scaling in GS. Scaling happens in optional, but GS4 scores are awarded on face value. You score less marks in GS3 because your answers are poor, because it is not meeting the demand of the question. There was one question in 2023 or 24 mains regarding urban flooding. So at that time, that examiner told me, he was geography examiner, and he used to also examine urban flooding comes in geography only, human geography. So he used to examine GS3 also. At that time, he said that if your answer had Amrut, the scheme, Amrut 2.2, you will be awarded 1 mark directly on the spot. Only if this word will fetch you 1 mark. If you write Amrut only, it will give you half marks. So your answer needs to have these things. Examiner is expecting. There is no model answer as such. They are discussing how to award the marks. There is no particular model answer, but there are some certain things. For example, if there is question on Chandrayaan, there are clear directions regarding what is asked on Chandrayaan. You must write what is exactly asked. If you write random things about Chandrayaan, you will not fetch marks at all. You will write what is contribution of ISRO. It is not asked. You are asked only about Chandrayaan, write about Chandrayaan, get 8 marks out of 10. It is as simple as that. So please focus on the demand and don't overdo it in GS2 like I did, because GS2 demand cannot be understood. Focus on the basics in GS2, judgments, examples.
Okay, so that means, Dr. Sahab, we have to be good in all 20 questions.
Right.
And obviously we will not do all questions in a similar way, but at least we need to be average in all, so that we don't need to do things. The thing you said, that question 1 and question 20 should have the content, because the numbers will be awarded on the content, not just some random things. So now I would like you to discuss about the optional, Doctor. So in CSE we have one optional, that is veterinary. For you, I am telling, there are 2 optionals. So initially we'll discuss about the veterinary optional and then forestry.
Beginning from my scores again, my optional scores are very less. So in first mains I scored 242, 116 and 126 in both the papers. In second mains I scored 253, 125 and 128 in the 2 papers. And even in forestry, veterinary scores are less. So regarding optional, I don't think I am the right person to advise anything. We have been speaking, and I have told you that I know many people who have scored exceptionally well. I know many people who have scored poorly in optional, or in our optional. So my opinions are little mixed on our optional. It is very rewarding. It is very rewarding, but still it hurts when you see that because of your mark, your optional, your graduation subject, you are out of the list. It hurts a lot. So that is why I have a little love and hate relationship with veterinary science. How to do it? I have nothing extraordinary to add again. Basic books, make notes, and be thorough. If you see 2023, 24, 25 question papers, you would notice that the questions are becoming difficult day by day. The depth is increasing. Earlier, the questions were very superficial. They were asking structure and function of kidney. Now they are going to stay apparatus of horse. So the questions are becoming very random, very deep, and even the pattern of questions is changing. Let me tell something. So many of our vet aspirants would not know that our optional is, I think, the only optional which has not allotted any specific structure to the paper. For all the other optionals, there is a specific structure for those 50 mark questions. See, we have 8 questions, 50 marks each, out of which we need to attempt 5. So there is a specific structure for them. In the specific structure, by that I mean that the division of those marks is fixed. For example, it might be 15, 15, 20. It might be like that, 13, 20, 15. Yes, 15, 15, 20. And this would be repeated in all the 6 questions, apart from the compulsory 2 questions. In our optional is the only optional. You have appeared for this 25 means, and you know there were 7 and 8 marker questions.
Yeah.
That fracture one.
Yeah. I remember.
So these random things are happening. For 20 marker question, other people are given 3 or 4 pages, maybe 3, maybe 4. In our optional, we do not have fixed number of pages for 20 marks question. This happened to me in 2023. There was a nutrition question. I thought it must be for 3 pages only. When I finished writing in 3 pages, at that time I realized there is one more page.
Yeah. I remember, Doctor.
So it happened in 20. So we do not know that these things exist. That is why I am warning you beforehand that our optional is very, very random in many senses. Many things are happening randomly there. So just be aware. First, when you see any question, just flip through the pages and see how many pages are you given. There were instances for 15 marks, there were only 2 pages. For 15 marks, there might be 3 pages. So 7 and 8 marker question of that fracture question in paper 2. There was only 1 page. 1 page here, 1 page there. 15 marks question, 2 pages. For 10 marks, you have 2 pages. For 7 marks, you have 1 page. For 8 marks, you have 1 page. Now you have to apply your intelligence there. How you need to address this? I did everything and still scored poorly. We know a guy who has scored 294 this year. Who has also, he did not write a single paper in before mains. He wrote actual mains in the exam hall only. The actual paper in exam hall. And still he scored 294. I did 3 hour long answer writing for whole year after 2024 prelims. I did it for whole year and still I scored only 253. What matters is what you do in those 3 months before mains, because revising our optional is very difficult job. It is very lengthy. It is very, very lengthy. So as I said that I was not very studious. I was good. I was scoring above average marks in my graduation, but I was not exceptionally well there. So that is why I am facing many challenges in difficult and deep questions. That is why my scores are less. But still, I still believe that there is a scope of improvement. I am not discouraging anyone to pick this option. If you love this subject, if you have done your graduation very judiciously, if you have done justice with the graduation in those 5.5 years, I think you must pick this subject. If not, please think about Anthro, please think about social. Because we know many officers. There is my one batchmate, 25, Aakansha, I think Aakansha Anand, 2015 batch.
Yeah, she
2022
went.
IS.
Yeah.
Her optional was geography.
Yeah.
If I'm not wrong. Geography optional.
We took her interview also, Doctor.
Yeah. I saw it in your Her
Yeah.
optional was geography. See, so if you can, please look other ways also. But if you are good with veterinary, you are welcome here.
Okay. So, Doctor, as you rightly said that this is your personal experience regarding the optional, and many other our seniors have scored good in this. As recently, we know that in 2025, our one senior has got 294 marks, and that is a very good score in optional. And the thing that you were earlier mentioning, regarding the number of pages, yes, it is very confusing and shocking, because we think that okay, it's 20 marks question, so there will be 4 pages, and then one more page is there, and we have almost finished that question. So what we'll write now? So yes, these things require an active approach while we are solving the question. That we first need to scroll through the paper, that okay, these number of pages are there. Okay, so regarding sources, Dr. Saab, you mentioned the static books only we should refer, and PYQs are the main thing.
For optional, I think we need to have validation, and validation can be done by using internet. Please search for the current happenings. There is a basic animal statistics report published by ADHD every year. Many reports are published by NDDB, our department of DHD, not ADHD, DHD, and WHO. Just be aware with it. What is the data related to meat, milk, rabies data? What is Minister of Health doing regarding rabies? Is there any current happening? Supreme Court judgments. We can add this in our optional, but this is just what we take garnishing. Main marks come from the basic body of our question. Just that is why beyond static, we also need to use the newspapers.
Yeah. And what is your take on the diagrams? in this optional? What kind of diagram should we draw and whether they are rewarding or not?
Diagrams are obviously rewarding because see, during our college days also, professors used to ask us if there is any anatomy question, diagram becomes mandatory. We need to draw something regarding any anatomy question. Even if, for example, if you want to draw housing, head to head, head to tail, a diagram is required there. Poultry housing, we need to draw what Californian cage is. We have to draw something there. Similarly, so diagrams are required for milk and meat. For milk mainly, flowcharts need to be made because flowcharts we have done the same thing in our UG days also. So UPSC is not very different from that. Just you need to add intro and conclusion. Apart from that, body remains more or less the same. If you can, show some lesions, if you are writing any answer, in surgery questions. In college days also, we were asked to draw the region of surgery. What is the site of incision? So we have to draw diagrams there, where required. So it is very rewarding. There is no escape from diagrams.
Regarding forestry optional in IFS, Doctor, so please tell us about what is that and how did you prepare for it? How much time is required to do a forestry optional, because it was your optional?
If see 90% of forest appearing candidates pick forestry as their option. Do not risk yourself like one of our friends did. Please do not pick anything else. Please pick forestry because the sources are very readily available. What I did, I blindly followed Vidyanshu Shekhar Jha sir's notes. He is Air 4 in 2023 exam of forest. His notes are very comprehensive. It includes everything from diagrams, validation, everything, definitions. Because forestry is a very technical subject, just like veterinary, but it is very, very short. You can cover it within 15 days. And I'm not exaggerating anything. You can cover it within 15 days. People have done it in a week. So do not pick forestry at this juncture. Even if you are completely forest service aspirant, pick up forestry. Then if you are completely forest, then only choose forestry. If you are a civil service aspirant, go for forestry, study forestry only after you finish means, because it is very much important. Your veterinary optional would already be done if you choose veterinary as civil service optional. If you choose for anthro, then you would have to deal with two optionals. And if you are aiming for both, go for veterinary optional blind. If you are aiming for civil as well as forest service, then do not run behind other optional in civil service. So veterinary optional, it gives very, very high relative advantage because most are engineers who are applying for forest services. They have to prepare two optionals. So they require a lot of input to gain marks in both of them. But as our civil...
If there is an aspirant who has not studied the optional earlier due to managing the prelims things, etc. So is it possible for them to manage optional between the mains and the prelims and mains time?
No.
Okay.
Even if you have chosen the same optional as your graduation, that is veterinary science, still it requires a lot of input, because as we know, you must be a postgraduate candidate. You must have done some specialization, for example, in poultry. So that would make you well versed with nutrition, LPM, meat, and this much extension even. But still, you will have to study for animal diseases. It won't be possible to cover everything in these prelims and means. That is why, again, I don't want to name anyone. That is why we know people who have appeared for civil services means multiple times but have not cleared it. Not because their optional was weak, but because their GS was weak. So you need to give a lot of time to GS, because your GS score has to be above 400 if you want to be the list, irrespective of your category. You have to be above 400 to land in a good service, in a very good service. So that is why for that your GS needs inputs, essay needs inputs. Even language papers needs, I know a friend who has scored only 47, but his GS was exceptionally good. Only 47 in language, in our Marathi language. That is why his answers was not evaluated. You need to some efforts in language also, and then optional comes. So the managing these 9, even if you say 7 papers in less than 70 days, we have more or less only 70 days at our disposal. In this year, we might have around 65-70 days only that much after result. At that time, managing optional becomes very, very difficult. That is why you must be very well prepared with your optional before prelims, so that you can do justice with all the 7 papers in those 2.5 months.
Yes, Dr. Sahab rightly said. Earlier we had 120 days and now UPSC has decreased the time. Earlier the exam used to be held in September and now it is in last August only. Okay. So one important question that I would like to ask Dr. Sahab, what is the basic difference between Indian Forest Service mains examination and UPSC CSE mains examination? What are the things we need to prepare different if we are appearing for both of them?
So let's talk about the structural differences first. Civil services examination, mains examination has a total of 9 papers, right? So 4 GS, essay, 2 optional, 2 language, 9 papers. Forest service mains examination has only 6 papers, 2 optionals, 2 papers each, 4 papers, 1 general knowledge, not general studies, general knowledge, and English. Nothing is qualifying like the language papers in the civil services. All the 6 papers in forest, the marks are counted, even the marks of English. That is why you need to be good in all the 6 subjects. Again, the number of marks. All the papers are 250 marks in civil service. In forest, the English and GK questions are there of, I think they are of 250, and optional is of 300. Or I might be wrong. I'm so sorry. So the marks, awarding of marks is different. So nothing changes due to the marks, but the general knowledge paper, that is what mainly the first 3 GS papers of CSE, that is what is general knowledge. It is a very lengthy paper, very lengthy paper. Here we have 55 pages, and there we have to write 60 pages. So completing paper of general knowledge is very difficult in forest. That is why you need to be very strong with GS in civil services. All the first 3 GS, if you are good in that, forest, I still remember the current forest service main examination. The GS2 paper, in general knowledge paper, the questions related to polity were as difficult as GS2 paper of civil service, as difficult. 3-4 liner questions asked only for 10 marks. So that is why questions become very difficult. That is why completion of paper becomes difficult. That is why general knowledge is very important. Even general English, you must not ignore English at any cost, because we do that in civil services because it is just qualifying. We need to score only 75 in English. In forest, we need to score a lot. It is of 300 marks. Yes, 300 marks. Each 300 marks English, 300 marks general knowledge. We need to score very high there, at least 150. So that is why, yes, all the, but again, it can be done in 2 months. What UPSC has done in recent times, as you rightly mentioned, that the time period for civil services means has reduced from complete 3 months. It is now around 2.5 months. But for forest, the time period has increased. Earlier, it used to be after 1 or 1.5 months after civil service means. Now it is after 2 months. It is still happening in November, and we have September, October totally at our disposal. We have 2.5 months for forest service means. So that is why we have ample amount of time at our disposal to cover both the optionals and give justice to both English and GK.
Okay, so we need to do something differently in the English paper, or we can just manage it?
No, we cannot just manage it, because the difficulty level of English is different from civil service English. We have to do, you have to be focused, you have to do focus study for English. You need to understand that you must have if you are primarily focusing on forest and not for civil service, that it becomes more difficult to you because you have no experience. The grammar is really difficult. You need to be well versed with the PYQs. PYQs are Bible. So be thorough with PYQs for English. See how questions are asked. Understand what sequence you must follow. Do not go blindly there. Have some strategy regarding English. So, and in that way, you can PYQs, refer to PYQs. You will understand how difficult it is.
Can this be done
it can
within
be
2
totally.
months? Okay.
English takes less than 4 to 5 days.
Okay.
You do not need to dedicate RR2 for English specifically, but you need to do something for English. Like UPSC, you cannot go blindly into the exam hall. You need to be aware of the difficulty level of the questions. You need to be aware of we have forgotten how to write a letter. We have forgotten how to write a report. It carries marks. It is not asked in UPSC civil services. It is asked here. Write a letter, write a report. There is some structure needed for that. We must be aware how to write a letter. Respected ma'am is outdated now. We do not write dear ma'am, respected ma'am. You write only ma'am. We need to know this. where to write yours truly, yours obediently, yours significantly, all that. We need to be aware. So because all of these things carry mark, that is why this does not need a lot of efforts. Just need conscious efforts for at least a week. Then you are good to go for English.
Okay, so do we need to join any courses for that, or we can do it on our own?
No. PYQs are more than enough for English. Even for GK, we do not need any course, nothing. See, please try to refrain from joining courses blindly. First, pick up the PYQs. See if you are able to understand the PYQs. If you are able to write something, write some decent answer. And if you are not, if you are unable to understand, then only join some course. Because those 2 months, what the most important thing to do in those 2 months is writing. You have to write daily. If you join some series, some lectures, then at that time writing takes backseat, which is the most important thing. Lectures won't help you write answers. It will just help you understand, but it won't help you write. So that is why focus on PYQs. Try to write yourself. Then only, if you feel the need, then only join some coaching or anything.
Okay, so now Doctor will talk about the last stage, that is the interview. And as we know that you have a very good experience in interview and very good marks also in the IFS examination. So please tell us, what did you do differently for the interview, and what were some of the questions that were asked to you in the interview examination?
I have already told my marks earlier: 124,
Yeah.
184, 180, and 230 marks in the 3 interviews that I appeared for in the Dolpur house. So let me tell you, see, our background is the first thing that fetches us more marks. It is very sorry, no disrespect to any of our friends, but it depends on luck. But still, our background makes the listener uh, curious, because almost 70 to 75% people are engineers who are appearing before the board. So the panel is already interested to talk to you, because you come from a different background. They haven't met anyone like you in those 3-4 months of interview. So you are the first one. You are the first veterinary appearing there. Uh, even if you are appearing, even if you are opted for any other optional like anthro or social, PSI or anything else, still the questions will revolve only around veterinary. Not only around, mostly around veterinary. 50% of your interview, there are chances that more than 50% of your interview will go around veterinary only. Everything related to veterinary. So first thing, and it is not an advice just for veterinarians, but to everyone in general. You need to be very thorough with your graduation subject. If you are a civil engineer, you need to be a good civil engineer first while appearing before the interview, because they are better civil engineers than you. They are not better veterinarians than us, because they look at us as experts. In many mock interviews, I was called as veterinary scientist. I have done nothing beyond those 5.5 years, and still I was called as scientist. I know nothing beyond the basic books, but still they think that I'm an expert on everything related to animals. I'm not, but they do not know that we are not. But we have to show them that we are really very passionate about animal health, animal science, veterinary, wildlife. We are very passionate. If that reflects in your answers, then it impresses the board, and that is what my main idea behind my good scores is. I think the main thing is they found me a good veterinarian. I am actually passionate about animals, about wildlife, and that was reflected in forest interview. My first questions in my DAF also, I have mentioned in my hobby is watching wildlife documentaries. It is actual my hobby. So the questions were asked regarding. So the chairperson asked me in this forest interview only, um, if you are asked to make a documentary on wildlife, uh, some tell the which region will you choose to make a wildlife documentary. I said I would choose marine areas, because I think I would choose marine mammals as a subject of my documentary. He asked why. I said that marine mammals are still underexplored, very understudied, and they are highly intelligent species and all that. He asked me the names of some marine mammals. Tell me some marine mammals apart from. He said that from the commonly known two, tell me others. I thought he was referring to whales and dolphins, because they are the commonly known marine mammals. I talked about orcas and dugong. So CSE aspirants know what dugong is. Veterinarians may not know, but all the UPSC aspirants know. It is a PYQ, sea cow. He was impressed. He did not know about any of them. So he was impressed. He was visibly impressed. Then he asked, "You have been a veterinarian for so long. Then tell me what is the difference in psychology between cat parents and dog parents. So I assumed that he must be some parent at least. So the answer that I gave, how their psychology is different. So he was impressed again. How, because what my answers that answer revolved mainly on the psychology of cat and dog. We know that how we have seen it in clinics. We may have a pet at our home. We know how cats behave. We know how dogs behave and how their parents behave. See, we must not say owners; they are parents. Pet. Um, so how a dog parent behaves, so how a cat parent behaves, and there in my answer, I talked about the dink families, double income no kids. It is a phenomenon due to which adoption of dogs is rising in urban societies. I talked about all of this. I was not just a veterinarian while talking. I was showing that I know about other things as well, and he was impressed. And I could see it in those 30 minutes. I could see that chairman was visibly in my favor. In the second member grilled me a lot. I think he was from some defense background. He grilled me. He grilled me really hard. He was not letting me complete any of my answer. He was asking. I had done NCC in my college, so he was asking about India's defense preparedness, the relevance of Gandhi, Buddha. I was trying to answer, and he was interrupting. But I did not come under any pressure. I remained silent. I remained calm, smiled, and just I ended. I understand that I cannot. Uh, he does not want to understand me. He's just trying to pressurize me. So I have to do some ego massage. So I said that yes, I have to read more about it. We do not need to argue there. So yes, sir. Accept that you do not know things and just move ahead. This is not a competition of who knows more, right? So do not let your ego take you to some unwanted regions. So just accept. Sorry, sir. I'll read more about it. He also feels good. Okay, my ego is satisfied now. Apart from that, all the other members were very cordial. So yes, so be a good veterinarian first, despite your optional, despite your any background. If you are a good veterinarian, and then you'll score good. But having said that, let me tell you, nothing uh, regarding to interview is in your control beyond your preparation. Because again, I don't want to name anyone, because a very good candidate has scored very poorly this year. Uh, I don't know. Nobody knows why. Because it was sheer bad luck, nothing else. Um, you do not know which board you will be awarded. You do not know at what time you will be entering that chamber. You do not know when your interview will occur in January or March or April. You do not know how the weather will be, how the mood will be, who is the candidate going in before you, who is the candidate going at what number you are going in. So all of these factors affect them a lot. How, see, in second interview in this year only, I noticed that the chairwoman and the chairperson and some member, so they were not having very good relationship. I could see some tussle between them. So it affects the whole vibe of the room. It is not in your control. Another thing, in my forest interview, a song was playing in background. There was an instrumental Tum Hi Ho. It was playing background continuously. I thought it was playing in my head first, but then I realized, when I took pauses for long, then I realized it is actually playing in the heart. So it may be, so nothing is in your control. Uh, just pray to God that luck favors you on that day, and then by God's grace you will score good.
Yeah, okay. So I also listened a story regarding that, an aspirant who told that that while they were giving interview, the chairman was watching TV. Means the
Right.
yeah. So it is a complete thing which is done on purpose to disturb the candidate or to make them nervous, that okay, I'm not focused on you, I'm focused on something else which is more important for me at present. So we need to be prepared for it.
But still she scored 200.
Yeah,
Despite
yeah,
that, the news and newspaper scored 200.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So yes, so that means that what we are perceiving, it is not necessary that they are also perceiving the same. So yes, so things in interview we have to manage. So how did you prepare for interview, Dr. Sahab? Means any coaching institutes or by yourself? What was the source?
So the primary source for interview preparation is your DAF.
So regarding mental health, Dr. Sahab, as you have been quite in this journey, so what would you advise to the aspirants that how to manage the ups and downs which comes in this journey?
Right. I think I'm again eligible enough to talk about ups and downs in this journey, because I have seen more downs than ups, like most of the aspirants. So, how to manage this? I think the most important thing to manage anything related to your mental health is having a supportive family. If you have very supportive parents, siblings, then I think half of your work is done there. uh, Apart from that, supportive friends who believe in you, who do not taunt you when you fail, who do not doubt your ability when you fail to see your name anywhere, and who still believe you, who keep pushing you. I believe I'm very fortunate to have such friends, have such circle around me. Most of my batch is VO in Maharashtra, so none of them, not even once, they said that please come here. They always, despite all of my failures, even this year, after 5 years of my journey, I failed to see my name in the finalist in civil service examination. And still, my friend said that if not this year, you'll see your name next year. None of them asked me to join VO. They always believed that the path I'm walking on, I will be able to achieve what I desire some or the other day. And apart from that, obviously, parents never doubted my ability. They always pushed me forward. Uh, there were some family issues, but still they pushed me. They said that we believe in you. So first, mental health can be dealt in this way. I want to discuss another aspect regarding mental health. I know some people who can relate with it. See, when I began this journey, I was a very non-believer person. I did not believe that any supreme authority exists. I believe that there is nothing beyond humans' control. Humans are the most supreme beings on the earth, and we can control everything. But this belief was immediately shaken within few months by UPSC. So over the years, I have come to realize that there are many things beyond our control. There are many things. Most of the things are beyond our control. uh, Many young aspirants would not agree with me, but please take it from experience that role of luck is more than 50% is the exam. Believe me, it is more than 50%. In these last 5 to 6 years, I have seen many people, many deserving people who did not find their name in that list. I was one of them who was not finding my name in the list because there are many variables that are beyond your control. So a time comes, a point comes when you have to surrender yourself to some authority. You have to believe that you have to be hopeful. You have to believe that one or the other day your time will come. So this won't you won't be able to believe this if you do not believe in anything related to God. Please have faith in God. If you do not have faith in God, then UPSC will teach you how to have faith. But I told one of my juniors who was similar, very rational me. I told him that he said to me that no sir, I do not believe in God or that, all that. I tell then I pray that God be with you in this exam, because without without external help, without luck, without fortune, you won't be able to succeed, and this is a fact. So for mental health, be hopeful, surrender yourself, just focus only on the control the controllables, focus only on that. If you are not clearing prelims, see what is going wrong. Do not blame the exam. Please do not blame the process. It is your choice. UPSC has not asked you to fill the form. You have applied by your own conscience. So please do not blame the process. If you want to blame anyone, blame yourself. Do not blame too much. Do not say that you are undeserving. Do not say uh, it is not made for you. It is, but just focus, analyze everything very critically, and then have good friends. Please do not go for veterinarians especially. I know, you know what I mean. Please do not indulge in any dark habits. It is a very slippery slope, and there is nothing good comes out of it, especially for veterinary community. Again, we are uh, we are cursed with a lot of bad habits. So please stay away from them as much as possible. And that's all regarding mental. Please have some hobby. Focus on your health. Do not ignore your health. I used to do gym regularly before prelims. I left it during mains, but during prelims and interview, I did not skip any gym day. So please focus on your health. If you have any hobby, please go outside those four walls of your room. Please step outside, touch some grass, feel some rain. Please do that. Talk to your friends. Do all these things, and then your mental health will most probably be taken care of.
I think very rightly said, Doctor. Good peer group and good family is a prerequisite for this exam, because when we are in our lows, then we need to talk to someone, and if we don't have, then it is very depressing. So mental health is one thing that we need to take care of, and you explained it very nicely. Okay, Dr. So the final message that you want to give to the aspirants, mainly veterinarians but also other aspirants in general, what would be your final advice that everyone should follow, and to whether they get through or not get through this exam? UPSC teaches us many things. So what is the one thing that it taught you and you want others to learn from you?
So I want to tell everyone who is appearing and failing in this exam that let not this exam decide your worth, because this is not designed to test your capability. This exam is designed to pick some fortunate few, pick some elite few. Let me be very blunt. It is what it is, and let not it decide your worth. Please do not judge yourself based on your performance in this exam. If you want to judge yourself judge yourself only as an aspirant, not as a person. Your worth, what you deserve, it is not decided by those 7 papers, by those 30 minutes in that examination hall. They cannot decide who you are. So having said that, I would suggest for regarding all the veterinary aspirants, I think we have a lot of potential in this exam. We have a lot of upper hand with respect to other streams candidates. But what we lack, what I have observed, is we lack courage to appear, because we have jobs at our disposal. We do post graduation and we get good paying jobs. There are a lot of opportunities that we have. That is why people lack courage for appearing in civil services exam. Please show some courage. Talk with your parents, talk with your friends, and ask yourself. Stand in front of a mirror. Look yourself into the eyes. Ask yourself. Your conscience will tell you the truth, whether you are capable enough of clearing these exams or not. Your conscience knows the truth. Please do not fool anybody. If you are ready to give 3 to 4 years dedicatedly of your life, dedicatedly to this exam, then and then only please enter here. Because like many of our colleagues, we have seen that it is very difficult to clear this exam with a job, because it is a very demanding exam. If you are doing it with a job, you need to put in a lot of hard work, but still you'll need to give at least 1 to 2 years of your life dedicatedly only for this exam, and only then you can join some job and do this, because it is a very demanding exam. Show some courage. We have it in ourselves. So please don't be afraid of this exam. In recent times, our success rate of our community has been decreasing, but still it is sad to say that it is decreasing. But still, I think we can achieve if we show the resilience, if we show the perseverance, and that is what I want to say. Please do not be afraid of this exam. Do not be afraid of the uncertainty, of the obscureness of the exam. Do not blame the exam. Ask yourself, be critical about yourself. What is going wrong? Be very objective in your process. What is going wrong? What is going correct? And then I hope that we'll be able to be on the other side very soon.
Very rightly said and motivating words, Dr. Sahab, and I think we all need these words, and especially for candidates who are thinking to join civil services but they do not join because some people advise them that this is not, this is sheer work of luck and then tough also. But I think the ultimate, the thing that guides us is again then it's our inner will that okay, no, whatever it takes, I will give it, and that is what this exam requires.
Right.
So with these words, I would like to thank you, Dr. Sahab, that within a very short notice you agreed to do an interview with us, and within every topic you gave a detailed experience of yours, whether it was in prelims, whether it was in mains, or whether it was in interview. And definitely I am hoping that many aspirants will get help from this interview and they will gain an edge in their preparation. And thank you so much, Dr. Sahab, and I would like to congratulate you once again for this success of yours, and we may wish that many more veterinarians come in this field and succeed.
Thank you so much, doctor, for giving me this opportunity to connect with our friends.
Okay, so thank you so much, Doctor, once again for joining with us, and I wish you all the best for your future journeys and endeavors. So thank you so much, Doctor.
Thank you so much, Dr. Prashansa, for providing this platform, and I wish you all the best as well. Thank you so much.
Okay, Doctor.